Well, the grants have had a huge impact on my department. I've told my boss I don't want to hear about any more grants. I got hired when we got the TACT grant, and that was to provide cyber education in the state of Maryland. And it's really interesting because basically every community college, with I think the exception of one, in the state of Maryland is part of the consortium for TACT. And we're teaching cyber education from Frederick all the way down to the Eastern Shore. There's a lot of stuff that has had to happen on the ground, but as you've seen in the news, we're constantly having incursions, we're constantly having hacks. Things are getting more and more dangerous out there. I found now that apparently what you need to do is even when you go to the ATM, you need to grab the machine and shake it a little bit to make sure someone hasn't put a skimmer on there where they can basically scan your card as it goes into the machine. The machine still works, but now someone else has your card number, and then they can use it online. And by the time you find out about it, they've drained your account. So it is a huge field, and I'm glad that we've had the opportunity to do part of the work to help fill it. And as part of that, we've had, again, those same three groups of people. We've had people who already work in cyber security who wanted to just brush up on their skills. We have people who work in tech but not in cybersecurity who wanted to take a step up, and they've been very successful in our program. We had one person actually double her salary as a recourse of being in our program. That's anecdotal, you know, past performance is no promise of future results. And then of course we have people who don't have positions currently who are saying, well, since this is the hot area, this is where I want to learn. Now, after our success with TACT, when we heard about Tech Hire, that seemed like another good grant, and it was for people who are pursuing careers in H-1B type fields who have barriers to entry, meaning that there's some reason why they weren't able to get into a technical position. And that grant has been, that grant isn't under my area, though I do help with it. We help hire the instructors and vet them and what have you. And again, we're seeing some of the same groups of people, though those are mostly the unemployed who are going for that grant. America's Promise, which we're getting ready to kick off next week, as a matter of fact, the way that the grant request was written is we were to create boot camps. We were supposed to create training programs for people to get these H-1B jobs. And what I've learned, because I taught undergrad for 4 years before I came here full time, is that there are a number of people with computer science and information systems and math degrees who are intending to work in programming or with computers, and either because they didn't get an internship, because maybe they don't interview well, or they didn't have the world's best grades, they weren't able to get positions. So now they're sitting on top of $60,000, $120,000, $200,000 in loans, and they're kind of stuck with a job that they probably could have gotten without going to college. So what we're doing with that grant is we're giving them that same training that I talked about that we do with Infosys, that 8-week boot camp training. So in giving them the same training that one of our industry partners gives their new hires, we can then tell an industry partner, this person is either will be able to hack it or won't without it costing them anything. So we're doing kind of a topping off. We're giving that last layer of gloss, if you will, to those students who've already completed their college degree or who are about to create their college degree. And we've had fantastic response. We had about 92 applications for 36 slots, like I said, and it starts next Monday. Well, the alignment between workforce and Montgomery College, I think, is the same to a certain extent with all community colleges and workforce development organizations. And it's part of the reason why I came to work here. In standard four-year colleges in the quote-unquote Ivy Tower, it can take 2 to 3 years to get a course approved and through the curriculum committee. But in a place like the continuing ed department, we can stand up a course pretty much in 2 weeks. So if an industry partner is saying that we're having trouble finding people to fill this role, and we can find the teachers for it, then we can create a course, put it on the books, assign a room, and start enrolling in students immediately. By the time a regular school could answer a trend, the trend is over. So we still have schools, I think as recently as 3 years ago, we still had new law schools being built to fulfill a lack of law schools from like 15 years ago. And now there's a glut of lawyers because of that lag. But continuing ed tends to be much more nimble. Well, the Maryland Tech Council is a wonderful organization, and what the role that it plays for us is it helps connect us to those industry partners. And it can be really daunting for us to try to get in with some of the bigger companies at MedStar and Infosys United Solutions, but because of Maryland Tech Council providing that go-between type service, we're able to get in the room with these industry partners, talk to the people who actually make the decisions, who know that we're having trouble finding Java programmers, or we're having problems finding people who do data analysis, or we're having problems finding people who know big data. And they can tell us exactly what they need, exactly what they're looking for, and we can create the programs that would allow students to be what those employers need, and then we can make that match.